Hello there. Good morning. Happy Wednesday. Happy Hump Day. Yay. It's another Hump Day, and here we are together. I am so excited to be here. I am coming to you live on the road again. I'm Dr. Valerie Renee Shepherd, founder of the Hartley Center for Mindfulness and Self-Mastery. And we are traveling right now in the Pacific Northwest of the United States, about 3 hours outside of Seattle, in a beautiful area called Port Angeles. And I am looking out on a winter scape of nature. Good morning. Thanks for being here. Winterscape of nature. And in the distance, the long view has a harbor, and longer view, Canada. It's so amazing and beautiful, and I'm grateful to be here. And I'm toasty warm. I got my matcha green tea. Here's a mug giving you a little bit more view of where I am, Olympic National Park area, and all is well. And I'm hoping that all is well for you. It's another Hump Day Happy Chat. We're talking today about an incredibly important subject, my favorite, something that we celebrated yesterday, Valentine's Day. And today, I hope you had a magnificent Valentine's Day. I hope you got to wear your red. And I wore green yesterday, which is so funny. I'm wearing my red today. Um, I hope that you had a chance to be loving, be that loving you for yourself and for others. And that's what I wanted to talk about today in this sort of belated um, happy Valentine's Day, is to consider and contemplate, is that um, about yesterday, February 14th? I have every now and then my eyes weep, which I have been told has to do with uh, dehydration. So I've been upping my water intake and tearing my eyes as much as I can. So worry not, I'm not crying. It's just something happening biologically that I'm allowing to do whatever work it's going to do with me. So enough of the sidebar. I just wanted to let you know what was happening if you see tears coming out of my eyes. So first thing I would love is if you're joining me live to type in what was the most fun, exquisite part of your Valentine's Day. And if you're watching the replay, please hashtag replay and tell us the same thing. And if you feel so called, remember there are people out there who may not know that something I say is something that their heart needs, and you don't even have to know who it is. You could just share and allow them to get the juju on their own. So thanks so much for being here. The Hartley Center, we're all about helping you live a magnificent life through self-mastery, which is mastering you in your life so that you can exquisitely manage whatever your life brings your way. And I don't know about you, but my life has brought me all kinds of things on a daily basis. And my ability to manage them, to know what's going on with me mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, what's going on with me is going to dictate how I experience what's coming at me from outside. That's what self-mastery is all about. I cannot, in 99.9% of the cases, change the stuff that's coming my way. So my point of power, my point of ability to have what I want, in spite of a situation that's not offering me that, is to master my reactions and turn them into responses, master my interpretations and turn them into lenses through which I can say, oh, that's what's going on. Oh, this is coming to show me something about me, to help me do better, be better, see better, hear better. The wisdom is here. It's always in your life. Your job is to cultivate the eyes to see, 1, 2, 3, eyes to see, and the ears to hear, 1, 2, 3, ears to hear, and of course, this magnificent heart to receive. Okay, so here we go. This week's Hump Day Happy Chat, I asked the question, what kind of lover are you? What kind of lover are you? And this is not going to be a conversation about sex. So if you're joining me because you think it is, sorry, I don't mean to disappoint you. It's not going to be a conversation about sex. It's a conversation about the kind of love you are putting into the world, into your various spaces, into the places that you hold dear, into the places where you carry yourself. What kind of lover are you? So Valentine's Day is beautiful. I love it. And often Valentine's Day morphs into a recognition of romantic love, of, buying your beloved things, showering your beloved with things that let that being know their importance to you. And I love that. I went out to dinner last night with some friends, and there were four of us. People probably thought we were on a double date, coupling thing. That's not what was going on. These were very dear friends and a very dear friend of theirs whom I had just met. And I wanted to treat for dinner. In fact, we had all forgotten it was Valentine's Day. That's pretty funny. We were trying to make reservations, and every place was booked. And we were like, what's going on in Port Angeles, Washington on a Tuesday night? And then it was like, oh, it's Valentine's Day. I was wearing green. It was Valentine's Day. We ended up going and getting a beautiful table overlooking the water, and everything was fine. But it brings up this question of, how are you loving? What kind of lover are you? And are you expressing the kinds of love that you're built for, that are a part of your very nature, that you're here to express? And if not, why not? And how can you breathe more, express more love into the world? And I don't think you have to look very far into the world to see how much more love is needed, how much more amplification of the feelings of love are needed in the world today. And to be able to give your part, like, not every one of us is built or even has the inclination to go on a save the world mission. We can't all be the people carrying the flags and the torches. We can carry our own flag and torch, right? We can stand for the concept of being a lover that benefits us and the world. So I just want to talk for a couple of minutes about the kinds of love that I think are so important. And there are several ways to talk about love. So last night, while I was out with my friends, and maybe you were out with your friends too, or friends and family, there's a love called philia love, Philia. Philia love is the kind of love that you feel toward your closest friends and family. You appreciate them. You like having them in your life. You like knowing that they care about you. You feel secure around them. It's a beautiful kind of love. And I even feel the warmth in my chest when I hear them laugh, or we talk about something funny that we did together the last time we were together, or we discover something together. It's really beautiful. It's really beautiful. And there are other loves, storage love and pragma love. One that is most important to me and is calling to you as well. There are two that I want to talk about. One is, you've probably heard as unconditional love or agape love. Agape love, which is this selfless love that emanates to everything and emanates in a 360-degree manner when you're really good at putting your focus on being that, not doing it, being it. When you're really accomplished at being that, Your presence in a room changes the energy of the room. You've seen that before. I'm not telling you anything I don't think you know. People walk in the room angry, it changes the energy of the room. Everyone's like, what's going on with that person? Why? Oh. And the same happens when you walk into the room in the space of delicious, juicy, unconditional love. You walk in the room and it's like Pigpen. You're off-gassing these little hearts and flowers and beautiful colors and delicious tastes. And everyone's like, ooh, I want some of what he's having. I want some of what they're having. I want to be like her, like them. Agape love is universal, selfless love. It doesn't pertain to an individual relationship. It doesn't pertain to a certain dynamic. It's just this total, unconditional love that you have for the greater good, no matter what's going on in the greater good. And it's 100% of the greater good. It's 100% of everybody. Universal harmony put out in the space of oneness, co-creation of a higher vibration on the planet, completely ignoring that which maybe doesn't reflect that vibration yet. That which isn't breathing that vibration yet. Your ability to be in this agape love is what can raise the vibration that even others can feel. Just walking around being you. Sometimes this kind of love is triggered by being out in the world, doing something for others, a charitable act, helping those in need, giving back to society. Somehow the data shows that when we quote unquote do our part, when we are a part of fulfillment for others, we become fulfilled ourselves. It's an interesting cycle of reciprocity. We give and we receive through the act of giving. That's one part of the cycle of reciprocity. We give and we receive in the very same moment. The cycle of reciprocity is bigger than that. So we give and we receive from someplace else and not necessarily related to the giving that we just did. But there is that beautiful aspect of love that gives us that fulfillment, that warm, fuzzy feeling. And here's the most important part of this cycle of reciprocity and unconditional love. It also wants no payback. It's completely free giving without ever expecting anything in return. That's the piece that some people have trouble with, that I had trouble with. Was somewhere inside me there was an expectation that I'd get a return, and I was looking for the return in the situation, from the same people, in the same measure, and that's where I was sort of circumventing, discombobulating my giving of unconditional love. So notice in yourself, if you're doing unconditional acts of kindness and love, but then you're waiting for, well, why isn't anyone doing it for me? You're actually looking to take. You're not actually giving. The giving gets cut off by the fact that you want something back. It's not bad or wrong. It's not what I'm saying. I'm just highlighting for you that you are at a lower vibration, a lower level of giving. Giving unconditionally wants nothing in return. It's beautiful. I'm just doing it because I want to do it. And the way I helped myself get better at this was to give anonymously. Big, big, big gifts. Sometimes 5-figure gifts I gave anonymously so that I could notice myself wanting something back, wanting the recognition, wanting to walk in and know that everybody knew that I had been a big donor. And as soon as I caught that my ego was engaged, I was like, okay, I'll use my ego to do what it is that feels right, that generates the high vibration, but I will not use my ego to aggrandize myself. It's a very subtle line there. So if you're giving but you're expecting a return, if you're giving and you notice that you want some accolades for giving, it's not bad or wrong. It's a thing we've been taught. It's a conditioned pattern here in the Western world especially. It's just an opportunity for you to say, oh, look at that. Look at me. Oh, where's this coming from? What would be better for me in this moment? So remember that agape love, unconditional love, it's toward everything and everyone, no matter what the conditions, no matter how they're treating you, no matter how they treated other people, the death row inmate and the saint, and everything in between. That's unconditional love. Nature in all of its forms. Even if you have trouble with my favorites, mosquitoes and spiders sometimes, especially if they're in my bed. So what kind of unconditional lover are you? And can you get into the vibration of unconditional? The other one that I want to talk to you about, which is critical to being able to love unconditionally, and also critical to creating the life of dreams, the magnificence that you want in your life, what I'm receiving in my life right now every day, surprise and delight. That comes from inner work. That comes from an inner engagement in who you're being, what you're thinking. What is your constitutional stand on everything? But most importantly, on you. On you. So this second kind of love that is critical is called philautia. Philautia. It's spelled Philautia, and it's from the ancient Greek. Phileo, meaning I love, and autos, meaning self. Phileo and autos, I love self. So philautia is self-love. Philautia is the kind of love we should practice to open up ourselves to love unconditionally. At the center of loving others is loving yourself. The capacity that we have to be loving, to be love to all things, starts with how well we can love ourselves. And I mean the crevices, the tough places, the shame, the old wounds, the mistakes, the failures. I lost money. I lost my house. I lost my boyfriend. I lost my girlfriend. I lost my other. I did that wrong. I never graduated. I stole money. I lost money. Whatever those little pockets of, oh boy, would I love a do-over. Where's my mulligan on that? In today's society, we are bombarded, and through social media, we're bombarded with a lot of images, a lot of storytelling that is gaslighting. It's not true. People want to be regarded as living fantastic lives, and a lot of them aren't. And that's not your problem. Your problem comes from making your life about keeping up with them and what they're portraying. Trying to look like them, trying to quote unquote better yourself so you can be like them, as if there's one ideal type and as if what works for somebody else is what's going to work for you. Your life is ordained for you, from you, to you, by you, about you, you as your higher self. That's what you should be listening to, the higher self calling you into, here it is over here, my precious, my beloved. So Philautia is about noticing where there are pockets of pain in you that need to be cleaned up. Noticing, am I loving myself when I do this? When I think that? When I eat this? When I drink that? When I ignore this? When I spend too much time on that? Am I in Philautia? What is my Philaftia quotient? What is my recipe for the magnificence of Philaftia that I can be today? It doesn't have to be an everyday recipe. But what are you doing? Who are you being as a lover of you? What are you doing? Who are you being as your best lover? As your loving, nurturing guide, companion, playmate? Like, how are you being your loving everything? Everything. So Philaftia, self-love, Philaftia, the idea that in every moment, your only challenge in every moment is to be a better version of the you were being a moment ago. A better version. And it all starts with Philaftia. It all starts with self-love. And how do I translate that into how I greet others? How does my self-love show up in the way I receive others' perspectives, their ideas? How does my self-love show up when I receive others' criticism? How does my self-love show up when I'm listening to the news? How does it shape and how is it reflected in the ways that I receive what is coming at me, coming at me, coming at me from the outside world? Your greatest gift to yourself would be to grow your capacity for Philaftia. Grow your capacity to truly love yourself. Write a love letter to yourself. That's one of my homework assignments, own work assignments. Write a love letter to yourself. See how well you can gush. See how easily it is for you to determine things that are perfectly right for you, that are perfectly beautiful, that are perfectly waiting to be amplified by you. And here are a couple of other things you can do. So I always start with getting onto your breath. Why? Because the breath turns your attention and focus inward, and it also allows you to ground. Ground in the physical body, ground in the physical earth, ground yourself so that you're not flitting about and floating outside your bodies. You wouldn't believe how many of us are not in our bodies. We've allowed our life force energy to be diffused, disintegrated, and sent all the places out here. One of the ways you can tell is if today you keep running over in your head something you feel didn't go right yesterday or the day before, or heaven forbid, last year. Your energy's over there with whatever that is. So breathing helps you come back. And I usually do my name is Valerie Renee Shepherd, and I call back all of my life force energy to me now. Oh, see, and I can feel myself get really solid and really present. Calling back all of my life force energy to me now. So you can do that as you take some deep breaths and come into harmony, come into relationship, come into knowingness with your physical body. The next thing is, and there's no way around this. I'm sorry, there's no way around this. You've got to clean up the emotional junk in your trunk. Your old emotional baggage, those little storms, those little places where you feel wrong, those little places wronged, where you feel guilt and shame because you were the perpetrator of wrong onto someone else, wrong. Those places where you are still upset, only that's not what's happening right now. Those things are getting in the way. So when you want to love and you're just feeling a withhold, instead of leaning in, you're leaning back. You're contracting your heart. You're closing your chest. You're feeling yourself being removed and separated. You've got to go into those places and say, what is this? Not from a place of it's bad, it's wrong, I need to find out why, but from a place of release. You don't have to dig down in there and come up with every reason why and take 3 months and go on pilgrimage. I love all of those things, and I've done all of them, and they are why I'm where I am today, but they may not be what's right for you. And in a quick moment, you just need to notice, ooh, wow, I had a big contraction when that person said blah, blah, blah. I had a big contraction when I thought about this. I had a big contraction when I wanted to help that person. When I saw that homeless man. Like, what was going on inside you? It's trying to get your attention. The whole idea is to notice when you can't feel love. There's a block there. You were made to feel love. Your very nature is love. If you have trouble being that in today's world, something is stopping you. All you have to do is say, I wonder what that is. I wonder why that is. Curiosity is your savior. Curiosity will give you the impetus to lean forward and move it out of the way. The number one tool for moving the past out of the way, can you think what it is? Forgiveness. Forgiveness. It's a practice I leverage every day, starting with myself, forgiving myself for making mistakes. People who work with me or are with me a lot will see me go, oh, did that wrong, and I forgive myself right in the moment. So forgiveness. If you need help, if you need some practices, there are several practices in my book. I love Ho'oponopono. It's a beautiful indigenous culture practice that is so easy, so peaceful, so filled with grace. And there are other things, phoenix ceremonies, bubbles meditations. There are a number of things that you can do to help you with forgiveness. It doesn't have to be heavy and arduous. You just got to do it over and over and over. It's what I call a forever practice. Get into forgiveness, stay in forgiveness, constantly be giving forgiveness. And as you notice that you've been forgiving, you might also notice a lightness about you, a different feeling within. And as you release things from forgiveness, you want to replace them in your countenance. And here's where the love comes in. And you can start really small. Pick something that's easy to love and expand from there. So for me, it was always, my love meter was always my puppy dog, my beloved Maggie May. My beloved Maggie May. It was always, what would Maggie do? How would Maggie love right now? I always went to the unconditional love of my dear pet. You might go to something else. I also went to nature. I always could pull in, I would look out at nature and pull in something. I love the way that tree is doing that. That is love. It counts. Agape love. That counts. When I would solve a problem, I might say, boy, I love how I've got such an engineer's mind. I can see through these little difficulties. I love my tenacity, self-love, about me, from me, to me, for me, as a blessing for me, to let myself love myself. It is not selfishness. It is not narcissism. Narcissism is when you want everyone else to love you. Healthy philavtia is about noticing you and what you bring. And until you can do that, you will have a withhold when you try to love others. And on this journey, celebrate your wins, celebrate your victories, celebrate you doing the spectacular you, being the more loving, caring, giving, nurturing, kind, harmony cultivating you. And then lastly, keep it going. Keep it going. It's a forever practice. That's it. What kind of lover are you? What kind of lover are you? Thank you for being with me. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for commenting. Thank you for asking questions. I'm Dr. Valerie Renee Shepherd. This has been another segment of the Hump Day Happy Chat. And I always close the Hump Day Happy Chat with the Karanaya Metta Sutra, which is the prayer of loving kindness from the Buddha. And it goes like this. May all beings be peaceful. May all beings be safe. And there's a lot of not safe out there, so we're just going to spend a moment to send safe. May all beings be safe. May all beings be happy. May all beings awaken to the light of their true nature. And may all beings be free. Yay! Free. It's emotional freedom, not necessarily geopolitical freedom. So free yourself from your emotional bondage and allow yourself to love more freely. Philavtia love, agape love, philia love, all the loves that are available. Be them. Put them out there. Amplify them. The world needs every bit. Thank you so much for being here. Bye now.